What's good, family? So mash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So we got some breaking news right now regarding your man's Canelo Alvarez, and unfortunately, it's looking kinda peak for Eddie. Down bad, Hearn. He going through it right now, 100%. So Michael Benson and Dan Raphael leaked some new news, and it is the following. Alvarez has reportedly now been offered an increased two-fight deal by Al Haymon's PBC to fight Jamal Charlo in May and then David Benavidez in September. Eddie Hearn of Down Bad Room Promotions, his offer stands as Dmitry Bivol and then Gennady Triple G Spot Golovkin. Both are alleged to be worth near $100 million. And one of the dons under the post commented that Eddie Hearn is losing every bit in boxing. I love this. He going through it, there's no doubt. Listen, I've got another video coming soon. Either way, Alvarez punked Eddie. Eddie put the news out there that Alvarez has signed a deal with Dmitry Bivol and Golovkin, and Alvarez came out and said, no, I haven't signed nothing. It's bad for Hearn right now. Yeah, all of Hearn's fake news lies he's been putting out there have been exposed. Yeah, he told the world that AJ said that he wants to beat Usyk without a trainer. AJ comes out and says, listen, Hearn, you're lying. And now Alvarez has shut him down. Yeah, Eddie Hearn full of porky pies and can't win a purse bid for love nor money. Anyway, listen. So you heard there, Al Haymon, he laughing at Eddie Hearn right now. And I'm hearing, the problem is, you see, recently a man in Australia got ate by a shark. And the point is, guess what? Right now, with Eddie Hearn, the sharks can smell the blood in the water. These older, experienced business people, like Fish Eyes Warren, like Bob Arum, like Al Haymon, they sat there and they played. They bought their time essentially. Yeah, Eddie Hearn doesn't have Sky anymore. And DAZN have tightened up their purse strings. Mr. $1 billion man, he can't win even the biggest fights. That's a fact. He can't even bid. Your man Eddie Hearn was bidding 60 million for complete trash fights. Now he can't even bid 30 for an absolute massive blockbuster in Fury versus White. That's how down bad Eddie Hearn is. And like I said, essentially what I'm hearing now is the sharks can smell the blood in the water. And that's why Al Haymon has come through and doubled down. They can see Hearn going through it. They can see Hearn desperate. They can see Hearn leaking information. It's been rumoured for years that Eddie Hearn's been the one who leaks the deal information to Michael Benson. Why? Because it puts pressure on the fighter. Yeah? If Eddie Hearn puts it out there that, Alvarez has signed with us. Do you know what I'm saying? It makes it awkward. Because then if Alvarez doesn't sign, it's kind of like, well, what is he ducking? Do you know what I'm saying? Eddie Hearn's been renowned for doing that. And unfortunately, Team Alvarez have nipped it in the bud. And not only that, Al Haymon's come through and doubling down. He can smell the vulnerability in Hearn. Hearn needs this now. Do you understand? Hearn really does need this Alvarez fight. Because seriously, his next 12 months are looking peak. He's just about his big A-level star. He's booked for 10 years. AJ just signed a lifetime deal. And unfortunately, that lifetime deal becomes worthless when he gets filled in by Mr. Middleweight in 3 months. Which means Eddie Hearn it's absolutely pivotal for Down Bad Room Promotions that he locks in Alvarez to this 2-fight deal. He needs this. And I told you, I did a video on it the other day. I spoke to Alvarez's people. They told me that Eddie Hearn's been on the phone, breaking down in tears, saying, come on, I need this. I need this bad. I really do. I need this. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do without this fight. Without Alvarez versus Golovkin and Bivol, what's Eddie Hearn have? What? Taylor vs Serrano? Oops. You know it's bad. I'm sorry. You know it's bad, yeah, when your 12-month calendar, the number one pay-per-view is Taylor vs Serrano. Wow! It's bad for Hearn. He down super bad. And unfortunately, the sharks are smelling the blood in the water and they're doubling down. Whereas before, Al Haymon would have probably just left it as it is. But now, they see how desperate Hearn is. People are going out of their way to punk him. Do you understand? Look at Frank Warren. Before, Frank Warren probably would have come in I don't know, he may have even lost the purse bid. But now they can smell the blood, everyone putting an extra shift in. Just to make sure Hearn can't catch it up, nowhere. Everywhere you look, Hearn catching L's. And he's got to be honest with you, he's got no one to blame but himself. He got too cocky. That's the problem, you see. He did get too cocky. He thought he was the magic man who can move all the pieces. And for a while, it was looking that way. But now, what pieces is he moving? Apart from Taylor vs Serrano. Oh man, it's bad. It's bad for Hearn right now. The only pieces I'm confident of Eddie Hearn moving is Taylor vs Serrano. And even then, to be honest, there's a good chance. I think Serrano could box her head off. It's only going to be the size. Taylor's messy. Taylor's sloppy. If you actually watch Serrano's, as far as being a good sharp boxer, she's actually one of the best female boxers I've ever seen. Serrano is. Katie Taylor might end up getting picked to pieces. Oops. Yeah. Oh man, it's bad for her. It's bad. It's bad. Bottom line, it's bad. But anyway, like I said, Al Haymon has increased his offer, and he's also added a fight to the deal. Before it was Jamal Charlo, just Jamal. Now it's also got David Benavidez in there. Now David Benavidez, that there is a blockbuster. However, what I'm not sure about is Alvarez's propensity to want to fight Mexican fighters. Alvarez, I'm not sure. Is Benavidez Mexican? I think he might be South American, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. But if he is Mexican, Alvarez has said in the past he doesn't like fighting Mexican fighters. He doesn't like to go against his own countryman. He likes to build. It's a bit like, to be fair, Floyd Mayweather built his career on fighting Mexicans. But Alvarez doesn't want to kind of split the nation. And I get that to an extent. I respect that. But end of the day, and to be fair, Alvarez is in a position where he can call the shots. But from a sporting point of view, you have to get over that nationalism thing. Ultimately, it's about putting the best fights on. And at the moment, I don't even rate Benavidez. I think Benavidez needs to prove himself against Charlo, against Pot. Do you understand? That's what I think he needs to do. But if these are the offers that are being sent in, I actually think now, before it was just Charlo, but now Benavidez is on the end. I think you should just go over there to PBC and fill them in, truth be known. Why? Well, the Golovkin fight's dead. I'm sorry, people. I really am. And again, Alvarez needs me on his advisory team, because Alvarez is not leveraging his true power. I've been saying this for years. These guys need to start, when you've got so much power like Alvarez does, he needs to start creating interesting fights for himself. Like I said, Alvarez should be telling Golovkin, if you want the third fight, you must fight Andrade. You must fight someone else who's a big name. Why? Well, if Golovkin beats a top guy, that then recreates the interest. Right now, all we've seen is Alvarez beat Golovkin decisively in the second fight, and all we've seen is Golovkin deteriorate for 5 years. There's no interest there, and that's why him fighting a top name, it must happen before the third fight. Otherwise, there's no interest. Now, if Golovkin had to beat Andrade, you can at least say, well, he's still on his game. And it creates the questions. Fans want questions. We want to be able to sit there and say, ooh, who's going to win that fight? And unfortunately, every fight Alvarez is in, he's fighting dudes who are just completely untested. When you look at Alvarez's resume, he's got 20 pure tests on his resume, and he's passed them all. Most of which recently with flying colours. Benavidez don't have one. Never mind 20, he don't have one certified opponent. Same as Charlo, don't have one certified opponent. And when he does have one that's half decent, he goes life and death. Oops. Yeah? So I'm baffled in that respect. And like I said, he need me on his team to handle the whole how to market his next fights. Because really, when you look around the place, Charlo has done nothing. Benavidez has done nothing. Golovkin, that's even, to be fair with you, at least Charlo and Benavidez have question marks because we haven't seen the fight. The Golovkin one is just awful, I'm sorry. He looks so old, he's so not sharp. It's been 4 years, and he looked old in that last fight, and he's done nothing since. 4 years is a long time when I think he's 40 now. I think he's 41. No way, I'm sorry, no way. It's not like he was looking decent. He was looking old and slow as it was. So I'm sorry, I just don't see it. I don't see the Golovkin play unless... I do admit, though, that could be... Alvarez may have the stoppage in his mind, and I think that's what it should be. If Alvarez does go for the Golovkin fight, it will actually, in my opinion, be a disappointment if he doesn't get the stoppage. If Alvarez goes in there and he's happy just to get the points win, that'll be an L in my book. There's no reason Alvarez shouldn't stop Golovkin in this fight, given how old he is. Yeah, there was an argument, even in the second fight, there's an argument Alvarez could have pushed him in the second fight, to be honest with you. In fact, now I'm pretty sure there was a point in the 9th round where the commentator said, wow, if this keeps going on this way, Alvarez may stop Golovkin. Now, as it happens, I think Alvarez kind of slowed down, but now, this new improved Alvarez has got exponentially better since 2018. So I actually think, like I said, if he don't stop Golovkin, fighting Golovkin in this current state where we don't know how good he is because it's been 4 years and he hasn't fought no one, that'll be an L in my book. That'll be a bad look if you go points again with Golovkin. He needs to be stopped now. Which that may well be because I'm trying to think, part of the reason Alvarez said he don't want to fight Golovkin all these years is because he's done it twice. Now, why would he suddenly change his mind? I'm hoping that's the reason why, because that would be a big, think about it, that would be, even if he is old and whatever, stopping Golovkin would be a massive feat in your career. That would probably be your best win, to be fair, wouldn't it? Stopping the man who never been stopped before. That would be the best win on your resume. And that would probably, to be honest with you, looking at the current crop, that really would probably be the best fight of your career if you're able to stop Golovkin. And I do think that is a realistic goal. So I do see, from that point of view, I see the intrigue there. But that's the only intrigue. Anything less, it's an L. If Alvarez goes in there and goes through the motions with Golovkin and wins 12-round decision, that's an L, in my opinion. And a waste of time for everyone. Now, the Dmitry Bivol fight, that in terms of competition, in terms of competitiveness, I've complained about Charlo, Benavidez, Golovkin not having much competitive intrigue there. In as much as, do I think Charlo has a decent chance of winning that fight? No. Do I think Benavidez has a decent chance of winning the fight? No. Do I think Golovkin has a decent chance of winning the fight? And when I say decent, I mean like 30-40%. I'm not even talking 50-50. However, the Bivol fight, because of the weight, that genuinely becomes a 50-50 fight or a 60-40 fight. To be honest with you, really though, don't forget, people, watch the Kovalev fight. The Kovalev fight was kind of scary. Now, people were saying that Canelo wasn't on form. Either way, he lost that fight until the stoppage because of the jab. Kovalev was able to backpedal and jab all night. Arguably, at best, it would have been a draw for Alvarez on the cards. And that was Kovalev, who'd been stopped by Ward, who was old, who was slow, and whatever else. Bivol isn't old, isn't slow. And arguably, there is an argument Bivol's even better than Kovalev. So, from a pure competition point of view, that Triple G and Bivol fight makes sense. But it's much more risky than the Charlo and Benavidez fight. And ultimately, I'm not really bothered either way. The Bivol, the Eddie Hearn deal, we get to see the Bivol fight. And potentially get to see Alvarez stop Golovkin. On the other side of things, though, what I will say is, if he does go the Charlo and Benavidez route, I want to see Alvarez push for stoppages. And to be fair to Alvarez, I give him credit, because guess what? Yes, I've been critical in the past that he's kind of gone through the motions in some fights. For example, I'm pretty sure Alvarez didn't stop Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs should have been stopped. I'm pretty sure, he didn't stop Danny Jacobs. He didn't stop Callum Smith. These fights should have got stoppages. However, recently, I tip my hat to him. Billy Joe Saunders got stopped. Plant got stopped. And this shows Alvarez is coming into his peak. Now, with that in mind, what I will say is, I insist on seeing Alvarez go for the stoppage against Charlo. Charlo's a smaller man. He's coming up to 168 for a start. and also he ain't no good. I'm pretty sure we saw Castano back him up. Or some, maybe it's not Castano, either whoever it is, he still can get backed up. And Benavidez is sloppy. Benavidez, people think he's big and strong, which he is to some extent. Benavidez is big and strong against bums. He ain't big and strong against Alvarez. And I think that big and strongness, that plodding, that standing and banging will be liable to get you knocked out, I believe, by Alvarez. Yeah, the only reason people survive against Alvarez is because they run. And even then these days, they can't run quick enough. Benavidez, I think you're going to find out that he's not a Golovkin of old who can take the shots. And even then, Alvarez wasn't peaking back then. Alvarez really was a pretty average, not average, but he wasn't banging like he's banging now. In that Golovkin fight, he was still, I don't know, yeah, he ain't digging like he's digging now, I don't believe. And I think Benavidez being flat-footed and whatnot, and Benavidez really, when you look at his offense, yes, he has volume, but he's a bit of a slapper. He'll outwork you to death. That's fair. That's for sure. If you don't do much and you're an average fighter, you're going to get outworked. But I'm afraid to say, digging trumps volume. Benavidez will be slapping and Alvarez will be tucking up and digging and making him pay. And it won't take... History has shown recently, it doesn't take many of them digs and you go... You know what I mean? You're falling over. And Benavidez too sloppy. He's going to get bust up. However, I do want to see that fight. But like I said, I insist on Alvarez going for the stoppage. There's no reason Alvarez can't stop Charlo and Benavidez, in my opinion. Or at least bust him up something different. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe it turns out that Benavidez is really hard. But I want to see him get bust up. So yeah, to be fair, I mean, I'm happy either way on that basis. Now, if Alvarez goes in there and he kind of going through the motions again against Charlo and Benavidez, that'll be whack. But there's no given the recent history, there's nothing to indicate that will be the case. But yeah, really, on that basis, I'm not really fussed. I mean, there's the whole element of it would be funny if Eddie Hearn gets punked. But then really, I think ultimately it's probably the Bivol fight I want to see, because the Bivol fight is the only fight that I actually think is close to 50-50. I still would back Alvarez. I'll never listen, I'll tell you this for free. Even if Alvarez fought Usyk, I'd back Alvarez, just on principle. Because I like how he fights. So I'm always going to back him. But, realistically, that's the fight where, out of all the 4 fights, that's the fight where he may have some questions to answer because of the size. Either way, though, it's exciting times, that's for sure.